Now, Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has glorified a terrorist in Jammu and Kashmir. Shehbaz Sharif says Indian, and this is the language of the Prime Minister, perhaps a man who owes his position to Pakistan's army that abets terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir. And he said that Burhan Wani was martyred this day in 2016, but could never extinguish flame of freedom, and words to that effect. This is Pakistan's propaganda. A terrorist sponsored by a country like Pakistan, he's glorifying terrorism while Pakistan claims to be a victim of terror, while Pakistan remains on the Financial Action Task Force grey list. And I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan for more on this. Geeta, this perhaps explains why Pakistan, 1, remains a state sponsor of terror, 2, remains on the FATF grey list because the country continues to sponsor and foment trouble in Jammu and Kashmir.
Not the first time that Pakistan is doing this. Burhan Wani has been a poster boy for Pakistan, and is the reason why India at various multilateral and international platforms has been raising one issue alone when it comes to terrorism. Primarily this issue that one person's terrorist cannot be another person's hero. That there needs to be a definition of terrorism and terrorists per se. The fact that the world is still divided on this front is the reason why countries like Pakistan thrive on the issue of terrorism. They thrive on terrorism and they allow and harbor terrorists. But they also support and promote the idea of terrorism, what they, according to them, they call heroes. But the fact of the matter is that there needs to be a definition. It's not just India that should be looking at statements coming in from Pakistan. The world should be looking at it. While they could very likely be off the grey list at the FATF, the fact is that the world, Gaurav, is a divided world when it comes to who are their friends, which terrorists are they willing to take on, which are the terrorists that they're not willing to take on, depending on their strategic interests. Therefore, India stands in the recent past, India really stands vindicated in the recent past with the stand and positions it has taken, not just with regards to terrorism, also with regards to regions and alliance.
Geeta, this also shows the desperation of whoever is the Prime Minister of Pakistan. I mean, whether it was those obnoxious rants of Imran Khan or Shehbaz Sharif following in his footsteps, because to survive, to remain in power, and for Pakistan army to remain in power, they just need to keep singing this Kashmir song, irrespective of knowing that the world has seen through them.
Well, it is a very sorry state of affairs that a country that has been reeling under tremendous financial stress does not have the economic build-up to look to the future, keeps harping on one issue and one issue alone. There can be outstanding issues. India has outstanding issues with China, but does not forget the importance of how to take a country forward. Does not harp on one issue and one issue alone. But for Pakistan, this certainly has become a huge driving point, not just domestically, but also on in international platforms. And they are certainly losing steam because a lot of countries are getting tired of this song by Pakistan continuing to raise one issue and one issue alone, not focusing on their own country, not looking within, not looking at the issue of terrorism per se.
And terrorism that's killing their own people. A country that may negotiate with Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which killed their own Pakistan army school children, that country is actually, the way it is, doomed to fail. Geeta Mohan for the moment. Many thanks for joining me.